Good morning. Well, I thought this morning I'd show how we get the blanks for those 3-inch wheels. So I'm using a regular hole saw. It's a 3 1/4 inch. You end up with a blank. It drills a 1/4 inch hole in the center. See, it's got that 1/4 inch drill, and you end up with a blank like this. It's just a little over 3 inches with a 1/4 inch hole in the center. The downside with the 1/4 inch hole is it's going to use a 1/4 inch axle. The upside is that the lathe has a 1/4 inch shaft that holds the wheels on, so that lines up perfectly fine. But what I found is over time, after the toy is built, 1/4 inch axles, even when I switched to oak dowels, were not quite strong enough. So I want to go the next size bigger, 5/16. So in order to get that hole re-drilled, after you turn them on the lathe, you put the 1/4 inch drill in there, you line it up, and then you lock down the holder and switch to the 5/16 drill bit. And then it's pretty well aligned. It's not exactly aligned, but it's pretty close. So what I found is I made some bushings, and I return these wheels, since they're slightly over 3 inches in diameter, return them a little bit, and put bushings in there that are 5/16 bushings. So on this 1/4 inch shaft, I've made some sleeves, as you can see, like this one here. They have a OD of 5/16 and an ID of 1/4. Slide them on there, put the wheels on, they're back in line, and then if there's some misalignment or anything like that, you can, as you turn off a few thousandths, maybe 32nd of an inch off the OD, and you put the radius and do the hubs and stuff, that they're perfectly round. And to get the two halves, so these two halves are glued together. You can see with the alternating tread, 15 degrees one way and 15 degrees the other way. But to get those two halves to line up, when I glue them and clamp them, I run a dowel down through the center. It's a 5/16 dowel, and it keeps the two halves aligned, so that way you won't have to re-drill it if you're just eyeballing it. Because if you re-drill it, then the hole is slightly larger and the tires kind of wobble on the dowels. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I'll take some more video as I turn those hubs in and round off the corners. We're just trying to take the edges off so they're not sharp, look more tire-like. That's about it. I'll go ahead and countersink the outside. Well, the next step is going to be to put a counterbore, 1.5 inch, using a Forstner bit, about the depth of the thickness of this head. It's a little over 1/2 inch, 0.570 about. This has a 5/16 hole drilled in there, so we'll do the same thing to line it up for the Forstner bit. So we'll come down, we'll line it up with the 5/16, get that in the center, then swap out the Forstner bit, and it should come down right pretty close to the center. Doesn't matter as much with the hub because you're not running an axle on or anything. It's just mostly cosmetic when you look in the hub that it looks like the axle is near the center. So we'll do that next. There you can see it looks pretty much centered. So I'll put this back on the lathe and then turn in a nice profile for that inside hub. That'll come up next. One other thing, typically when I'm trying to decide which side to put the counterbore on, I look at the wheel, and if there's a little, like there's a little tiny chip out here, and I want to sand it off from when I used the hole saw. So I'll put that towards the inside, and I'll counterbore the other side. There's a little chip out near the center, but it doesn't matter because we're going to remove 1.5 inch diameter counterbore, and that'll take that right out. So here we are with them turned. It doesn't really matter the profile you do on this inside edge, just something, you know, be creative. It's not really critical. On the back side, I really don't do much. Just relieve it so it doesn't rub against the body of the truck or the machine you're building. So it's just counter sunk in, probably 1/8 of an inch. Oh, maybe as deep as 1/4 inch. And these are the typical tools I use to do that on the lathe. Nothing special. But anyhow, that's how you get the tires. That's kind of fun. Makes a little bit of a mess, but some people have a nicer shop with vacuum takeoff. I'm just a cleanup guy. Aisle 5. Well, thanks for watching today. Let me know if you find it useful, and if you have any questions, post them in the comments. Thank you.